Hello and welcome. Wedge seems to have come down with the PAX plague, so you guys get me for one round of commentary. Kind of the backup plan, but I'll allow it. I can do my best Gabby Sparks impression, though, if you need to vent, Aaron.
Yeah, that did not go as planned. I have lots of good cards against that matchup, but I need to draw them like Languish, etc. Instead, I just got rolled by 1 mana white creatures.
The mono white humans deck will do that from time to time.
It
Who
will.
made
It
those
will.
cards anyway?
Yeah. I feel like that deck was really good before people started building decks with Languish, and I thought with my Languishes I had a better shot than that. But that was pretty embarrassing, actually.
Eh, all lands and no lands is tricky. I think you're right, though, about Languish. It seemed super well positioned for this Pro Tour, and a lot of the Pro Tour was people figuring out what kind of a shell you could put around Languish, and no mono white humans actually made the top 8 as a result of that. So.
Right, no white blue humans, no white weenie deck actually at all. The token deck, I guess, is the evolution of the white creature deck that can survive getting wrathed pretty regularly, and that's what won the Pro Tour. But we're going to see another Languish deck here soon, it looks like.
Right, what's our matchup?
It is the Girlfriend Bracket playing Seth Manfield's Planeswalker control deck,
Aha!
complete with Languishes, and Marshall Sutcliffe playing Brad Nelson's Goggles ramp deck.
I was actually surprised how far that Goggles deck fell in the draft. Isn't that deck just super sweet?
It is very sweet.
It looks sweet. I felt like Brad got the only matchup he was worried about in the top 8. He was worried about the green-white matchup. He said day one I talked to him, he was worried about Gideon decks. And then that's what he got in the quarterfinals. But if he dodged that matchup, I thought he could have won that Pro Tour.
Yeah, this looks like the better of the two Goggles decks that we'll be seeing today.
Oh yeah.
In that, sure. it can get its land count up without having to get the Goggles in play and use all of these red discard spells without forking them. It still looks pretty good.
I do like the Esper Planeswalker deck too. Seth made a good run with that deck. The deck looks sweet.
Yeah, I'm excited because it has Narset Transcendent in it, which is a card that I think everyone wanted to be cool when Dragons of Tarkir came out, and it just never found a home. And now here it is making the top 8 of the Pro Tour in the hands of the guy who's first in the Player of the Year race right now, or first in the standings, whichever the
1 point ahead of Owen.
Yeah,
He's Player of the Year race. He's up a point.
So it's legit.
The new Jace too, Unraveler of Secrets. I mean, that's a card that I'm guessing you guys expected to have show up in Standard.
Yeah, he was kind of the last Planeswalker we worked on in this set, and he was tough. It's funny how, in many ways, he's like a strange mirror of Ob Nixilis, which is another card in this deck. In that they both draw a card. Jace is much better at drawing cards than Ob Nixilis. You get to scry with Jace, whereas you have to lose a life with Ob. And then for their middle ability, they can both get rid of a creature, and Ob Nixilis wins that fight by killing the creature, and Jace merely bounces it. The two cards play very similar roles, but it looks like he valued the better card drawing than the better removal by putting more Jaces than Ob Nixilises in his deck.
Makes sense. By the way, the rest of the league tells me that on Gabby's behalf, I'm supposed to tell you that she struck a blow for Eldrazi Winter.
Okay. All right, we're even, community.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I'll win every other week then.
Have you thought at all about next week's format? I don't know if everybody who's watching realizes this, but next week we're playing Innistrad Plain Constructed. So you take Innistrad Block Constructed, complete with 2 banned cards, right? And no intangible virtues, no lingering souls. You add in shadows over Innistrad, and everything that's from the plane of Innistrad.
I am super excited about playing that format. I've been talking to some of the other designers out in the pit about various decks and what pieces might go together well, and I know I'm going to spend way more time figuring this out than one match of Magic is worth, but it's going to be fun trying.
Come on, it's a sweet match of Magic in front of an audience.
Yeah, it is sweet.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going to be good in that format, but I look forward to finding out. The other thing is, in addition to winning a match of Magic, we're going to have the debut of the Brewmaster standings. So the audience gets to vote on whose deck is sweeter. And audience ranks all the decks, and then we're going to keep track over the course of the season. We're going to keep track of the Brewmaster standings in addition to the boring win and loss standings.
That's tempting.
Yeah.
So,
You don't even have to win. Just show up with
everyone
something
should
sweet.
everyone should leave their champion of the parish and their Liliana of the Vale at home and just try to play with cool cards.
I like it.
All right. Yeah.
Sounds like our players are ready. So let's get down to the fifth match of the night. Hello and welcome to round 5 of the Community Super League. On the top of your screen, Marshall Sutcliffe has brought Brad Nelson's Goggles Ramp deck to play. On the bottom, the Girlfriend bracket. All 4 of them are together on a Google Hangout, debating strategy as they play Seth Manfield's Esper Control. What do you think of these hands, Aaron?
I see a lot of lands in them, which...
It's better for the Esper Control player.
It's better for... I mean, they're both hoping to play lots and lots of lands. Marshall's hand looks a little low on business.
Magnetic Insight lets him turn land and that into 2 cards, so maybe you keep it.
Well, the Girlfriend bracket already mulliganed. They did not like their all lands languish and 7-mana Planeswalker hand, so here's something a little more diverse.
And Marshall kept. All right, survey says 2 more lands.
There you go.
Swing and a miss.
Yeah, that deck, Brad's deck has only 24 land in it. You'd think with Magmatic Insight you might play a couple extras, but in some ways, drawing cards also helps you find more land.
Yeah. Yeah, Marshall's just got nothing going on until he draws something off the top. Which, if you give this Esper deck time to set up, it just starts playing Planeswalkers and doesn't stop.
Right.
A couple anticipates.
Yeah, it's like Super Friends all over again. There always seems to be, when the format allow it, some deck that's just jamming every awesome Planeswalker possible into it and hoping to overwhelm you with all the various things that they can do.
You guys in R&D have to be pretty happy with how this Pro Tour turned out, yeah?
Oh, it was tremendous. It was just absolutely tremendous, especially because of kind of the fears going into it, based on some of the other tournament events, the Star City stuff.
People were worried it was just going to be Bank Company and Humans.
Right.
That was not the tournament, though.
Not at all. I think we've seen a few times going into Pro Tours where like a white weenie deck is kind of the level 1 strategy and everyone figures out how to beat that. That's happened multiple times for multiple Pro Tours, and this was no different. It's like we talked about Languish kind of as the sweeper of choice, and once people figured out the best shells for that, and I don't know that anyone figured out the actual best shell, but Finkel's deck, the deck I just played, this Planeswalker deck, there's lots of ways to sweep up the board, lots of different decks to try to take care of that.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see what happens at Grand Prix Toronto this weekend, which is also standard.
Yeah, I always love those events right after the Pro Tour. Everyone's kind of scrambles to assimilate all of the information that they just got and figure out which decks are real and which decks are kind of got there on the back of awesome drafters
or John Finkel.
Right. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how real that deck is. I joked.
It's terrible.
I joked when we drafted that the deck. The Sultai deck that I played is the good version of Finkel's deck because it's just so much more proactive. Now, it certainly didn't look good when I played it, but in the matches, matches I played online in advance of today, it was totally sweet. That was the deck. I would love to take that deck to game day or a Grand Prix. It just does so much. It's got a toolbox of stuff. It's got creatures. It's got removal. It's got mass removal. It's got dragons. It's it's got planeswalkers. It's everything. All right, someone's gonna do something finally.
It's turn 6.
Chandra, Flamecaller.
Oh, how about a Spell Shrivel? Now, is that a card you thought was going to show up last weekend?
I do not think so.
Yeah, it's funny. This Esper deck, it has so little blue mana that it can't really afford to play the real counterspells. It has to play a single blue counterspell. And, Spell Shrivel had got the job done.
That Ojutai. No, there's Narset right in his hand.
Yeah, yeah, he's got Narset and Ob Nixilis.
They drew. This is not Seth Manfield we were watching. As I look over at my screen with my deck list on it, it says Seth Manfield at the top of it. No, it's the girlfriend bracket.
Yeah, they slow rolled Narset to try to leave up Spell Shrivel the whole time. Pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
I mean, you're against a flooded ramp deck. They're not going to have that many threats. So
Narset does not have any abilities that protect herself as many of the good planeswalkers do, but her loyalty number is enormous.
I was going to say her protection ability is I start with 6 loyalty.
Right. Hopefully we'll get to see some sweet rebounding with her middle ability. I know Seth wrote that anytime he rebounded Dark Petition, he could never lose the match.
Is this 2 Chandras meet 2 Spell Shrivels?
Yep.
Funny.
That's depressing.
Not if you're a blue mage at heart.
Nope. And just
that was awesome.
Looking at Marshall's hand, it is just ill-equipped to deal with a bunch of planeswalkers.
I mean, Fall of the Titans. Go ahead.
I said I do love Drownyard Temple in this deck, though. It's so techy.
Oh, it's so good.
You can discard it to your Magmatic Insight or your Tormenting Voice, and then play it. You can keep using it with your World Breaker as the land that you sacrifice.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Back the World Breaker and keep bringing that land back. It gives you give up nothing, just some time. But cards like that, I just totally enjoy. It's like, here's a card. It's not obvious where and how good this is, and it doesn't kill anyone, but it's a neat little engine piece. And if you can figure out how to do it, your deck's just capable of sweet plays over the long game.
Now here's World Breaker. World Breaker. Yeah, I mean, this is where Spell Shrivel would really come in handy.
This is where Ultimate Price does not come in handy. Devoid. It rears its ugly head here. That creature is not monocolored, despite what its casting cost tells you.
Doesn't have any colors at all.
Obnixilis can handle it, but the long, slow rebuy with the Drownyard Temple could become.
And the thing is, every time Marshall rebuys that, he gets to pull up a land.
Right.
Like eventually, he's just going to pick a color and start drilling away. Now you're down a color, and he's going to pull ahead on land eventually. Like I think the World Breaker recursion is real here.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely put on that card as a way to combat, kill all your creatures' control strategies, and this looks like the perfect case for that. I'm looking at.
I mean, is their strategy like Narset Emblem? Is that how you go with this game?
Let's see what Narset Emblem even does.
Isn't it counter the first spell of every turn? Or am I thinking of a different one?
That's the Jace Emblem.
Oh, that's the Jace Emblem?
The Jace Emblem.
Sorry.
Yeah, Jace.
So many
Narset's
planeswalkers.
ultimate is your opponents can't cast non-creature spells.
Oh, I knew it countered stuff. It counters the non-creature spells, right? And then Jace counters the first spell
Jace
every turn.
is whenever an opponent casts
So Narset doesn't do anything against World Breaker.
No. Now, World Breaker does say exile target land, artifact, or enchantment. It doesn't say non-creature permanent, which means planeswalkers are safe from its cast trigger. We wanted it to be mean, but not that mean.
Yeah, if World Breaker hit planeswalkers, it would be just absurd.
It would be game over right now, I think, if it hit planeswalkers.
Yeah, you see a lot more people playing ramp decks if it hit planeswalkers, but it's in a good spot. I like where that card landed. Marshall just can't draw land, though.
What does he want to do with his land? Discard it?
I mean, Fall of the Titans can eventually start. He's going to hit one planeswalker at a time, right?
Yep. Fall of the Titans is an interesting case of how the dealing direct damage to planeswalkers works.
Mm-hmm.
Because it hits 2 target creatures or players. You can't target the player twice, which means you can't kill 2 planeswalkers with it, even if it's surged.
Interesting. So he's going to blow a Kozilek's return just to be able to surge Fall of the Titans?
Well, like I said, the surge is not going to let... Well, there's no way he's going to kill Narset with 9.
He gets to kill Obnixilis, right?
Yeah. I'm going to kill Obnixilis and do 3 to the girlfriends. That case where Fall of the Titans can't kill 2 planeswalkers because you have to hit the player and redirect it. That's something we talk about a lot in R&D. Like, should we go back and errata every direct damage card to say creature, player, or planeswalker? We still get questions on that from people. We think everyone knows the rule, but many new players still don't get it. Anyway, I'd be curious. People hit me up on Twitter with your thoughts on that. It's a lot of errata, but it makes the cards a lot more clear of how they interact with planeswalkers.
Oh, by the way,
this weird rule.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Narset Emblem.
So he can't cast any more non-creature spells.
Right. He can cast,
but World Breaker is still a problem.
It's basically just the World Breakers is what his deck is down to. Here's the tech play you were talking about: 3 mana to get and sack the Drowning Temple to get World Breaker, but then you just spend the mana to put the Drowning Temple back into play. So.
Yep. But basically just 6 mana, buy back your World Breaker.
Not bad.
You can cast Kozilek's Return.
If he wants to get it countered by a Narset Emblem. All right, Shambling Vents goes down. The Narset Emblem is insane, but the Worldbreaker Recursion doesn't suck either. Like, what are the girlfriends supposed to do about Worldbreaker?
They're not applying any pressure. They don't have any answers in their hand. Well, 2 Grasp of Darknesses can buy them 1.
Yeah, but killing it once isn't good enough.
Right. I guess they can use each one as a fog if they felt like it. But no. Maybe Marshall needs to cast no other cards than this World Breaker over and over again.
Well, that's certainly what he's hoping, because all the others get canceled. Negated. Countered. His deck is down to half a dozen cards?
That he can cast?
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the girlfriend's deck list, and there's really no way to exile that thing. The main deck.
Yeah, I know that. I was talking to Finkel about the Rent matchup, and the Seasons Pass control runs 1 main deck copy of Infinite Obliteration, which you listen to John tell the story, and he said he had about a 5% chance of beating the Rent matchup because of exactly this Worldbreaker Recursion. Then they added 1 copy of Infinite Obliteration to their deck. Of course, they've got Dark Petitions to go get it, and the matchup went from 5% to 60%. They were now a favorite instead of being completely unwinnable. And it's like, this is just such a swing. We're going to have this crazy card in our main deck that just is only relevant to the 1 matchup. All right, yeah. I mean, Ruinous Path, clear the way, and make a 4/4 is a plan.
Right, but the World Breaker is just going to destroy the 4/4. Again, it doesn't say non-creature permanent. It says land, so that land is going to get destroyed. Yeah, the only cards that Marshall can cast this game from here on out is the 3 World Breakers and 1 Dragon Lord Atarka. That's it. That's all he's playing with. But that may be sufficient here.
Oh, Dark Petition. There's got to be something in this deck.
We'll see, but when I glanced through it, I did not see any exiling. The exile that this deck has are the Spell Shrivels.
They've already been used.
They were used on Chandra's. It's always a funny dance of kill versus exile, which card types things can hit, and picking the exact right answers for the metagame you expect to see is such a important decisions that we'd like to build in to the format.
Yeah, for those 2 ultimate prices have actual 0 targets, right? Not a single thing in Marshall's deck that they hit.
They can kill Chandra elementals.
Oh, they can kill elemental tokens. You got me. You can kill a 3/1 hasty token. My apologies.
But yeah, I think that's it.
Sphinx
That's
of the
it.
final word.
Now there's some stuff in his sideboard that that those ultimate prices can kill, so that'll be an interesting dance. If he brings in the Den Protectors or the Tireless Trackers or the Goblin Dark Dwellers, but main deck they are next to useless. All right, so the Sphinx can block the World Breaker, bounce the World Breaker.
That's a good point. Worldbreaker can also block and bounce the Sphinx.
Yes.
As reach, doesn't it?
A standoff, yes.
Wait, isn't Worldbreaker 5/7?
Oh,
Yeah, it can't bounce. It's not 4/7. It's 5/7.
4/7. I don't know why I'm thinking that.
Well, you talked me into it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I've seen
Be
someone.
a much more reasonable card at 4/7.
Have you seen someone lose with a Narset emblem in play?
I don't know that I've seen Narset emblem in play, to be honest.
I've seen Narset emblem. I have not seen the person with the Narset emblem lose. Marshall's literally down to 4 cards in his 60-card deck that he can cast. Well, that can resolve anyway.
Right. He's got one of them in his hand here.
Yeah, what does Dragon Lord Target do? Not much.
Eats.
I mean, trades with the Sphinx, I guess?
Isn't Atarka like an 8/8?
Yeah, fine. Eats the Sphinx. It holds off the Sphinx.
Doesn't die to Languish, and it doesn't die to Ultimate Price. That's what Atarka does.
Marshall's going to win this game.
Yeah, it's funny that, this Esper deck has that Sphinx in it because it has hexproof to blank all the removal that everyone else is playing. And these creatures that Marshall has are somehow also blanking all the removal that the opponent is playing. Okay. Grasp is a combat trick.
Cute.
These are some big boys out on the battlefield. When -4/-4 can't kill anything.
I'm a little surprised Marshall left Worldbreaker on defense here. I mean, he's worried about Dragon Lord Atarka dying, but he still wins that race. Yeah, I mean, he set it up so that he can make this one big attack, but Grasp of Darkness means it's not a lethal attack.
Atarka's dying.
Yeah.
And the girlfriends take 5 and then can block from there out with the Sphinx.
No, it still loses in a fight to Worldbreaker.
I'm sorry. Gotta get this. All right. 5 power. Right. 5 power.
It's late. Math is hard.
It's not even math. It's just remembering what the card is.
Remembering what the last version of the card is.
Right. The real version of the card
right.
is.
I've been there.
The real version of this card is a 5/7. I must have cast it as a 4/7 a bunch of times. If not, it's still a good story.
Wow. Narset Emblem, not good enough. Worldbreaker Recursion beats it. Crazy.
Right. Make your deck into 20 blanks, a bunch of land, and 4 creatures. That's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, those 2 spell shrivels too. I mean, it made sense to point them at the Chandras. It seemed totally reasonable when they did it.
Yeah, they didn't have other cards that would have been good against Chandra either.
Right.
Ultimate prices and languishes and whatnot. So right now, Marshall has to decide how many other creatures that he wants to bring in. There's probably a lot of removal he feels like he doesn't need. And so the girlfriends have to figure out how much removal they think they need. Silumgar's Command is an awesome card. That's one that I didn't think was going to necessarily show up, but showed up a little bit last season, and here it is again.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask you about the 61 cards you submitted for game 2 last round?
It was the deck is 61.
It just is 61?
The deck is 61. I
tried
tried
to
sideboard down to 60 in game 2, actually.
It won't let you?
No, nope.
Can't have 16
cannot have a
sideboard?
16 card sideboard. I could have put more in, but I was not allowed to take more out.
Silly me. I thought it was you that had made it 61. Yeah. My apologies.
I've done that from time to time, but I not in a deck where I'm going to die on turn against a deck where I'm going to die on turn 4 unless I hit everything I need. I'm telling you, I hope you guys get a chance to try that Sultai deck. Don't give up on it because of my embarrassing, unimpressive performance with it. It is a lot of fun. Okay, I can only imagine what sideboarding with 4 people must be like.
A fair point.
But they got there.
All right, here we go. Marshall Sutcliffe up a game despite having his deck reduced down to 4 cards in game 1. The girlfriend bracket trying to send us to game 3. Transgress, Jace, and 5 lands. I mean, I guess you have to keep that, right?
I guess the Transgress will be pretty good.
Yeah, it's going to hit the Dark Dwellers.
Yeah, so Marshall brought in more creatures. I love Goblin Dark Dwellers too. It's a fantastic card.
They mulligan into Grasp, Sorin, and 4 lands.
They have to keep that.
Yeah, I mean, you get the Scry too. But... It's funny. Every time I draft Traverse the Ulvenwald, I have this tension of like, I want to go get a land, but I really want to turn on Delirium and get a creature too. In this deck, at least you know you're not turning on Delirium all that often or all that quickly.
Right.
Just go get the land.
Still must be. The deck still must be capable of getting
it is
a decent amount of the time. Otherwise, I don't think it's worth playing that card. Like just play Oath of Nissa or something instead. But yeah, that card's cool. And the first copy helps you get closer to Delirium for subsequent copies.
That's part of the reason they get away with only 24 land, by the way. All right, here's the ramp deck doing the ramp thing. Kalitas going to come down, get in the way.
Marshall has no direct answer for that in his hand. I don't know how much creature removal he even has in his deck at this point. So if he starts playing Dark Dwellers and they start getting grasped, then the board's going to quickly go in favor of the Esper Planeswalker deck.
True story.
I wonder if the girlfriend's brought in Jace, Vryn's Prodigy. It's interesting how much that card has, I'm not going to say fallen off the radar.
It's worse now. You can say that it's worse now because it is
played a lot less now, that's for sure.
Well, part of the reason it's played less is there's not crazy fetch land mana base that lets you splash a 4th color all the time.
Right.
But even in the decks that can cast it, just not having fetch lands also makes it so much harder to flip that it's just not as powerful.
Right. You don't have 5 cards in your graveyard and blue mana on demand like you used to. And I think, Manfield probably thinks the card's powerful enough to play in his deck, but once you're on the strand all your opponent's removal plan.
Yep. Marshall, to the surprise of absolutely no one, is on the value plan here.
Oh, yeah.
Tireless Tracker, lands, clues. This is kind of all he ever wants to do. The problem is that Tireless Tracker is not going to have time to get out of Grasp of Darkness range. And Kalitas is going to recruit another zombie.
Yeah.
Tireless Tracker, Turning Trader.
Kalitas is such a mean card. Shuts off all the dies, triggers. Has lifelink, gives you zombies. Total package. Much better than the first Kalitas from the original Zendikar. Kalitas Blood Chief of Get was like 7 mana or something like that. Kind of a forgettable goofball. He's back and better than ever.
Yeah, well, I think the people playing Black-Green Aristocrats are hoping this one will also be forgotten. Not likely, though.
Yeah. It was a tremendous answer to Rally last season and is poised to be a tremendous answer to Aristocrats again this season. All right, Marshall has the goggles. We're going to get to see the goggles do their thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is Goggles and then Magnetic Insight, right? Does he have Rending Volley in his hand? He did bring in the Rending Volley, didn't he? Doesn't help much against Kalitas.
No white or blue creatures to be found. Is that just what could he even use that on? The creature land and Jace
Sure.
out of the sideboard.
Yeah, it kills Shambling Vents, kills Fern's Prodigy.
I guess it's better than Kozilek's Return or.
Yeah, his deck has a lot of creature removal. It is tough to find cards that are actually useful, I would think.
I mean, I think all those tireless trackers and den protectors are pretty nice, especially against 1-for-1 removal. They can all get you at least one extra card.
Yeah, I watched Brad win some crazy games with those out of the sideboard. He took a game from Finkel that, like, I had him written off. Everybody watching had him written off. All of a sudden, it's like Den Protector off the top, and he just launches off into this string of card advantage that actually overwhelmed John. I don't see that happening for Marshall, though. This game looks pretty tough.
The goggles
Sorin.
were anguishly unmade. Yeah, this one.
Yep. Sorin deals the first batch of damage. Kalitas and his zombies steal the rest, and we're on to game 3.
I think there's a lot of players out there that are happy to see this Planeswalker deck be good. I think there were some, like we talked about earlier, some concern that just cheap creatures were going to rule the day. It was going to be hard to play anything that looked like a control deck, but not the case. Not the case. Lots of good removal, and just a whole suite of tremendous Planeswalkers.
The other thing Rending Volley can kill is Dragon Lord Ojutai.
Oh, yep.
Which I don't know if they brought it in from the sideboard, but that may be what Marshall's thinking.
But if you're not prepared for it, it will
yeah
wreck you quickly. I guess the Shambling Vents mean you're never going to have no target.
Right, but you might rather have Fiery Impulse in that world. Like, Fiery Impulse is going to be better against Shambling Vet. You're going to have Spell Mastery. It's Dragon Lord Ojutai.
No, I don't think it's brought in just for the Shambling Vent. It's a reasonable hedge.
Yeah, and the Impulse is never killing a Kalitas. Impulse is never killing a Kalitas anyway, so. Makes sense. On to game 3. Marshall has no red mana.
So many Drown Yard Temples.
Yeah, the girls are fine. I mean, Magmatic Insight, Drown Yard Temple, you're like, hook me up. Yeah. Whoa, he kept.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess 3-land Hedron Archive. Oh, there it was. Straight off the top. No problem. Calculated. Had it the whole way. It's all set up the next turn. He can even bring Drown Yard back as a ramp spell if he wants to.
It's beautiful. Sometimes you just got to trust the deck. All these Drown Yard Temples are in here for a reason. There it is.
Living the value life.
It's like a cantrip mana stone.
Yeah.
It can't be spell shriveled or anything.
Interesting. Do you spell shrivel Hedron Archive? The girls say no. Makes it that much harder.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, how are you spell shriveling anything now? I mean, I guess the 6s and 7s are still vulnerable. God, are they going to get to spell shrivel that World Breaker next turn?
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
He has ramped
Marshall's
up to World Breaker.
Spell shriveled multiple times in this match already.
Oh, they're going to tap out for Kalitas. You're at 7 mana though, or is he's at 8 after he plays a land next turn, right?
6, 7. Yep, 8.
It's got to be tempting to just World Breaker and blow up your opponent's land.
Absolutely.
I think he would have done this. I mean, I think he does this into untapped mana. He certainly should do it into them tapped out for Kalitas.
Oh, I see. You're saying, would he have done it anyway?
Yeah. I mean, do you have to play Kalitas there? Maybe you do. I don't know. Tough call. So hard when you see
the fact that the World Breaker is a cast trigger means you don't even get to protect your land.
That's true. So you think you're just pretty cold to World Breaker there anyway, so let's just hope he doesn't have it?
No. I mean, I think you still need to exile the World Breaker. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem for the whole game.
Well, this sequence doesn't suck. Right, they got a zombie. Marshall can spend his mana. Oh, Kalitas exiles it. Right, all they had to do was kill it after killing it.
Oh, that's
because Kalitas exiles it.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, this works out great.
No, that is great. And Chandra is just a board wipe here.
Yep. -4, get rid of Kalitas. Still have a Chandra.
I was just saying how mean Kalitas is, and there it is, ruining your fun.
I think you spell triple. Kind of got punished last game for using the last spell shrivel on a Chandra and then having World Breaker show up, but
yeah, they have
they've got Ruinous Path, so you take what? Yeah, okay.
6, you take 6.
Doesn't seem like the end of the world. Yeah, okay. I like their line.
Is Marshall debating discarding 4, drawing 5?
Think about it. I like it for 6 here. I mean, his hand's not bad. Might even be good. Aaron Chat wants to know if Kalitas was more of a design card or a development card.
I believe that's a good question. I know design wanted there to be a new version of Kalitas, but I think like the exact positioning of that card is so precise, the numbers on it and the abilities and what it's good against. I mean, I don't know who typed the sentences into the database, but getting it exactly where it is absolutely a development at its finest, to be honest with you.
So yeah, take 6, ruin his path to Chandra still, and they top deck the land to have Spell Shrivel up still.
Yeah, that was important.
Although we're getting to the point where making Marshall pay 4 isn't necessarily going to counter something. Yeah, like this Den Protector is going to
not the little stuff. Not the little stuff.
Is it time for Z Goggles?
I should pop up the chat. It's a good idea. I think it's a good idea. We'll see once I start reading it.
Yeah, they're just going to suck up to 2 for 1. Makes sense. Gonna have to kill the Den Protector anyway. Chandra is returned.
Yeah, now even the Spell Shrivel won't even counter Chandra, since Marshall has 10 mana.
We'll see if, I mean, it's got to be almost time to sack Hedron Archive to draw cards, right? Even puts an artifact
he still has stuff to do. I don't know.
Puts an artifact in the graveyard for Traverse.
It does. It does.
It's like Sorcery Planeswalker creature right now, right?
I feel like cast Chandra, then sack Hedron Archive. I feel like he's aware of Spell Shrivel.
But look, the mana, it's right there.
I waste the mana.
Can't let that mana get just
unspent. An extra Chandra, so
all worked out.
It's rewarded. Make sure Eldritch Moon has Hymn to Torak reprint. I don't know if I can get to the factory and hand insert those fast enough. Sorry.
So Spell Shrivel does manage to counter something. Down goes Chandra. Marshall's still in a decent spot, though. I mean, he's just up a couple of cards. It's been an interesting game.
There's Jace. I don't have a chair this tall. Sorry. Please sit down. You're making me uncomfortable. This is my standing desk. This is the healthy thing to do these days, folks.
Oh, you're just still at the office, aren't you?
I'm still at the office. I do not have a second monitor at home.
Gotcha. Traverse the Ulvenwald with Delirium. Presumably you get Worldbreaker.
Right, I'm guessing you just get the thing that...
You've slogged through both Spell Shrivels, right? Or is it just one we've seen?
I think we've just seen one. One Kalitas is dead. When will the new block be announced? I believe in the next few weeks we'll be doing that. Doesn't Tabak also have a standing desk? Yes, he does. I don't think he uses it, though. He has a desk. He gets a desk, which is way cooler than mine, that you can raise and lower.
Nice. And he just uses it as a normal desk?
Recently, yeah. From time to time, I guess I see him standing up at it. Can we get a good counterspell in Modern? Maybe Counterspell. We have yet to cross the put cards in Modern that do not get there through Standard. and I do not see us putting Counterspell in Standard anytime soon.
Be so good for Modern, though. I'm a fan of
I get it.
actual Counterspell in Modern.
I get it. What were your 2 top 8s in? Team Limited. Those were my 2 Pro Tour top 8s.
The only 2 top 8s in the entire Community Super League. Although Paul's got a higher Nationals finish than you do.
Sure. I was playing with Andrew Cuneo, who's still on the Pro Tour, and another fellow named Andrew Johnson. And we made two team trios limited Pro Tour top 8s back to back. And none of us top 8'd any other Pro Tours, funny enough. Cuneo keeps coming close, though. Here's Worldbreaker.
Yeah, Shambling Vent took out Chandra, but Worldbreaker has Chandra's back.
Broke its world.
Apparently there's more Shambling Vents where that one came from.
Right at this point, though, trying to keep killing that Worldbreaker is not very productive.
Yeah, no, the girls need to come up with an exile effect.
The Drownyard Temple rebuy loop is in effect.
True story.
Do I play at FNM or other tournaments now that WotC's relaxed? Yes, although not as often as I would like. I play a lot of Grand Prix side events when I go to those, but FNM only rarely. A lot of guys around here do go to those, though. It's very cool that we get to do that finally after so many years of being denied the opportunity to play sanctioned Magic. Not leaving up colorless was a mistake. It probably was a mistake. But that's okay.
See, Goggles are here. They are the first spell to turn on the Surge for that Fall of the Titans, too. So Fall of the Titans can take down Obnixilis, yeah?
It just, yeah. Yep.
Or fork the Fall of the Titans and just kill the girls? How many can they fall for?
Goggles.
So that's
sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7, 14, and 5. That looks like 19 damage to me. Am I missing something?
Maybe next turn. If they draw a card. I guess Shambling Vent might be untapped then.
Worldbreaker attacks Obnixilis. Yeah, Marshall's just left off all his mana, so he's got the whole rebuy Worldbreaker trick lined up should they kill it.
There's an infinite obliteration in the 75 here for the girlfriends. They never got it. This Dark Petition could go get it, but without a way, it seems tough to chain everything together where the Worldbreakers are in the graveyard and not.
Can they planar outburst? Well, Dark Petition will give you the BBB you need for infinite obliteration.
Right.
So they need 10, right? But only have 7 mana. Land would be 8. That doesn't sound good enough. So I guess you have to just get the infinite obliteration now? Oh, Anguished Unmaking. Or that. Much simpler. The other exile card they have.
Takes care of this one. Takes care of this one.
That works. Did they just turn the corner? Like, all of a sudden, I see Planeswalker, Planeswalker, Planeswalker. And Marshall's got a Fall of the Titans that isn't quite good enough to do anything. I mean, I guess it can kill a Planeswalker.
Doesn't this just kill them? It kills 4 Planeswalkers. The 4 girlfriends.
Ah. Yeah, 9 times 2 is 18. It did not turn the corner. Yeah, he needed
In
to
some
draw.
ways,
He needed a
this
cheap
is
spell that could turn on the surge for Fall of the Titans, and that's
yeah,
exactly what he found.
yeah. In some way, and the anguish on making them lose 3 life was actually important there. In some ways, it's really cool, this combo, Fall of the Titans, Pyromancer's Goggles, but man, that must be a really unsatisfying way to die from 16 or whatever.
Well, there you go. Marshall
Very cool.
Sutcliffe wins. That was an interesting match. There's definitely some, like, who's got the late game inevitability is really interesting there. It's like little different weird little mini threats and small answers to small categories of threats. I like that matchup.
Yeah, I mean, World Breaker is a huge anti-control long game card. They had some answers to it, but then again, just being able to, holy smokes, basically fireball you for 18 out of nowhere.
And Marshall continues the reign of the players who were on the top half of the screen. Only the professor was able to break the conspiracy.
Is that what it was? All right.
Yeah, because although your problem was
on the top half.
Yeah, you had to host. That was the problem. You were on the bottom of the screen. How could you win?
I get it. That's all right. No one wants me to win anyway. It's fine. I'm the corporate shill here.
Well, that's week 1 of Community Super League. You see our 5 winners. We're now done with Pro Tour Gauntlet. If you guys enjoyed that, you should go check it out on Magic Online. It's certainly what I've been playing this week.
Absolutely.
Next week, Innistrad Plain Constructed. All the cards from the original Innistrad block, plus Shadows. There are 2 banned cards in that format. I think this is the last time cards got banned in Block Constructed. Not that Block Constructed is even really a thing, but we'll honor the Block Constructed ban list, which is Intangible Virtue and Lingering Souls. And be ready. We'll be posting polls to the chat, so if you're watching the show live next week, you can vote on who actually brought the sweetest brews to the table.
When do we need to have our decks turned in?
Monday.
Monday, okay.
Monday,
wow.
Yeah. I got to give Athena time to type them up so we can show the deck list. Not Monday. What am I talking about? Wednesday. I'm in Vintage Super League mode. Sorry. By the way, Vintage Super League decks are due Monday. There will be a Vintage Super League show on Tuesday. Yeah, my whole week is turned upside down. Your decks are due Wednesday because obviously we're on Thursdays. So
what will it be? Miracles or humans or werewolves, zombies? So much stuff.
Is there a good werewolf
deck? Stuff.
Seems like there should be a werewolf.
I don't know. I'll build it.
Awesome. Thanks for hanging out with us, Aaron. I'm sure
You're
chat
welcome.
enjoyed peppering you with questions.
Yeah, I'll try to have it open the whole time next time and pay more attention.
See what we can get you to say that you're not supposed to say.
There's a lot of ways to do that. There's a lot of things I'm not supposed to say. Some of them are about magic.
There you go.
All right, this was a blast.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah, I do seem like I'm tired. I am tired.
All right, guys. We will see you next time.